But he's still got a way to go. Rastogoyevs goes for Latvia. He's made the top 20 before, as we go back out with Lindstrom, who will be our pace setter in the early stages here. And here's the first climb after a relatively easy start out of the stadium. It's a flat exit from the stadium, then they drop down the hill, but they're soon met by this monster climb that has even made Lindstrom look a little bit heavy in the first kilometre. Butkovic of Croatia, 20-year-old. He raced in Hogfilsen and Pachuca, but struggled to get inside the top 100 there. And with 136 starters today, it's going to be even harder today. Just a little bit stiff on the skis, Mike.
He is. He missed 7 shots in this race last year. 7 out of 10, so only 30% hit rate.
But here's a man who should do better than that. Tim Burke of USA. Is he the American's big hope today? I think he will think he is. Lau Bailey also with a chance of hitting the podium. But Tim Burke has done it this season. He made it in Pachuca in the mass start, having finished 4th in the sprint, shooting 0-0. He has to go clear to challenge for a win, but Burke certainly is due some more success.
Lindstrom, Patrick, you mentioned he didn't look sharp. He doesn't. He looks like already after just 2 minutes he certainly hasn't picked his pace up, and he's in second place to Isa. I'm a little surprised. I thought he would be taking 10 seconds off Isa after the first kilometre.
Well, that's a sharp start from Andy Birnbacher, the first of the Germans to get underway. 8th in the World Cup standings. A disappointing 16th in Ruhpolding when many of the fans thought he was going to win, but he shot 0 and then missed the last 2 in the stand to ruin his chances of getting anywhere near the podium. The skis are the question with the Germans today, Mike, and we'll look forward to seeing how Birnbacher's getting on at the first split. Incidentally, Caddy Wilhelm is here, whose husband is the German technician. Caddy Wilhelm, of course, a star from a couple of years ago, and nice to see here. Lots of big names floating around, Mike.
Yeah, the World Championships, past legends, they've all come down here to watch and support their national teams.
Dominic Landertinger wearing 10. He's number 11 in the world so far this year. He finished second in the individual in Östersund to get his season off to a really good start. Been a bit up and down since then, so he could do with a bit of consistency this week. He's lightning quick, and if he hits the targets, he could be one who challenges the likes of Svensson and Forcada. So that's 10 gone. We still have 126 starters to go. Welcome back to Nove Mesto. The early starters already out on the tracks in this men's sprint. No one has got back into the stadium for the first shoot so far. Here comes Andy Birnbacher up towards the first split. Rastogoyevs with the fastest at 2:06, and Birnbacher comfortable at 2:06.7 as well. I think that answers our questions, Mike. I think they've got a decent pair of skis on their feet today.
It seems that way, and of course up to that 1 kilometre marker, a lot of it has been flat and out of the stadium, except for the very steep climb up to the split time marker at 1 kilometre.
Pașianu for Romania, who I don't think he'll be expecting to make the top 60, but that will be his challenge to ensure that he gets a race tomorrow. Number 22, Jaroslav Sukup. He already has a bronze medal in his bag, and he would not have dreamt of that 2 months ago, coming back from such a dreadful accident. Congratulations to him. Commiserations, I guess, to Mikael Schlesinger, who was the strongest Czech, but didn't get a place, didn't get a start in that mixed relay because he wasn't 100% healthy. He's on the start list today, though. Number 14 is Haiben Shen of China. And the Chinese, a team that have disappointed over the last couple of years. Back in, 2006, they really did show a lot of promise.
They did, and they're certainly evolving and developing the youngsters. We saw that last year in Innsbruck with the first ever Youth Olympics. They took a title, they took a gold medal there, the Chinese, so they're certainly developing from a young age, but they seem to be missing at this level.
Krasimir Anef in a suit that looks very similar to the Norwegians. He's 25-year-old. Certainly over the years his best results have come in the sprint event, so he'll have high hopes today. 16 is Kalovic for Serbia. 10,000 meters the distance over the years, Mike. When did you start? 1980? 1970?
It feels like 1982 I started.
1982. What was the average time for a 10 kilometre in those days?
Well, to be honest, it would have been about 26, 27 minutes.
And nowadays?
In this race, you would expect, 23, 24?
23, 24.
Yeah.
The point of the question is how much of that change is due to the equipment?
A lot of it is. It really is. The lighter skis, the lighter ski poles, the boots, the system of balance, it all makes margins. And of course, the track preparation. It's very different from what it was 30 years ago.
But all the top teams, and certainly Anton Shapulin's team, will have the very best equipment available. Nice stiff boots have certainly made skating a lot easier, and Shapulin will be hoping for great things. He's ranked number 7 in the world. Here is Jean-Philippe Legelec, who famously won the very first sprint this season, the first North American to win a World Cup. What a staggering figure that was, and it came in at the very end of 2012. Legelec has dropped away since then. I'd be surprised if he came through to win, but you never know with it's now 19 days since the last of the World Cup races, so a lot of time for form to either go up or down. Lindstrom coping with the crosswind quite well at the moment. Left to right it's blowing.
He needed that one. He's picked up his pace, Lindstrom, so his first kilometre was just getting into his rhythm, and he set the fastest time into the range. He needed that last shot, though.
Do you think that rules him out of a podium finish?
Yes, I really do. I'll just try and get time on this penalty loop. Yes, unfortunately, he's taking it so wide so that he can take this apex tight.
Adam Kwak of Poland, and the Polish put up a very good fight in the mixed relay on Thursday. Their women in particular were proving themselves to be world class. Kwak not racing in the mixed relay, so he'll be fully rested, but many of the athletes feeling that run out 48 hours ago is very useful for bringing your form up for the rest of the championships. Now Terje Boe, he did get a place in the Norwegian mixed relay ahead of Oleana Bjorndalen, and he came home with the gold medal. What a fantastic performance it was from him. Only 42nd in the World Cup standings, but don't read anything into that because he missed the first half of the season, and Terje Boe has shown himself to be on very good form.
I think everything about him there, Patrick, is what we saw 2 years ago when he was really at his best and winning I think he won 6 races that season. So Terje Boe for me is certainly a podium contender without a doubt. Would be a great story if Jaroslav Sukup could get another medal here, bronze medal in the mixed relay 2 nights ago. Well, all 20,000 fans are on his case. They want him to win. What a story to have such a serious injury with a bad mountain bike fall in August. Broken shoulder, broken arm, and he's been rebuilt. They didn't think he'd ever race again.
Well, the crowd are dreaming of more success for the for the Czechs, I should say. Here's Tim Burke. I know that Laura and Michael, 2 of our fans, are looking forward to success, but that's a bad miss from Tim Burke. Number 4 has gone wide. He's good. He's very quick, but he's not as quick as the top 3 or 4 in the world, and therefore he does need that perfect shoot to challenge for a podium position. But if he gets a good run today, he's a man who's confident in the pursuits and he can move up the order. Andy Bernbacher, he's won this season already, and with this sort of form, yes, he could well win again. That's a great start for Andy Bernbacher. The last target going down at 8:08, and so we'll get some idea of how long it takes them from the range to the stop point. So that's 12 seconds from the mat to the timing wand, but don't forget they'll all be shooting on different lanes, so that will vary a little bit.
I'm surprised Andy's only 9.6 seconds ahead of Lindstrom, who went round the penalty loop, so not skiing nearly as fast as the Swede.
Terje Boe up with the fastest. Pukiani of Romania has the fastest time. I think he's probably had a bet with some of his teammates that he can clock the fastest time up to that kilometre marker. Now, the first of the Austrians, Dominik Landertinger, just slightly low right, but safely in.
Very sensible, Patrick. He adjusted his sights to the left, so the fall of the shot so far quite central.
Not bad grouping. That would have gone through a 2 pence piece, certainly. All 5 shots. Number 3 going slightly high and left, but Landertinger will be happy with that. He's got through what is perhaps the hardest shoot. Certainly in the olden days, Mike, the standing shoot was the one that everyone feared. I think that's changed around a little.
It seems to be, especially on the far right of this range, the wind is a little more difficult from lanes 1 to 10 than from 10 to 15. I know I would shoot in between 10 to 15. More stable there.
Well, there you see signs of the wind that's coming over the top of the stadium, and with all the scaffolding stands in place, it makes it a little tricky. Even Martin Fourcade is going to have to be on his mark today, fully focused for the job in hand, once again looking totally relaxed. But once the bleeps go, Martin Fourcade is away, and that is the quickest exit we've seen from the stadium so far today. Beautifully balanced, immensely strong. He showed signs that he's on good form in the mixed relay, Mike, but were you not slightly surprised he didn't have enough to close the gap on Svensson on that last lap?
He closed marginally, but yes, I was surprised. We saw him attacking and closing the gap substantially, then he would back off. So yes, his form is good, and I think with a 10 out of 10 hit rate here today, I think he'll take it.
Well, all the talk is the duel between Svensson and Fourcade, and I think in those situations, unlikely contenders can come through unnoticed. Pukianu paying the price for skiing a little bit too hard. You can still see he's struggling to control the breathing.
I'm very, very impressed with that ski time. It's the fastest into the range.
But 2 misses, 300 metres, at least 50 seconds added to his time.
That's the great thing with biathlon. You've got to balance the two. Do you kill yourself out in the track and therefore putting yourself off on the shooting range? Good to see Schledemark for Greenland.
45 years old now, and slightly uniquely able to compete for Greenland. He's not allowed to compete for Greenland at the Olympic Games, has to race under the Danish banner, but the qualification for Denmark is much, much stiffer than it is for Greenland. But nice to have them represented.
And Ev, because of this wind, he's added that huge weight under the foresight. That's about 250 grams. And mainly for the stand position, if the wind is blowing, it really stabilizes the rifle, and he shoots so well.
Well, that's a good start from Krasimir Anef. 0:08:20 is the fastest so far. He won't be far off that leading time. Here we go with Svensson, starting exactly 2 minutes down on Martin Fourcade. He has the perfect start position today. A couple of three slower skiers between himself and Martin Fourcade, and that will help him. That will give him the urge as he blasts past the likes of Sloof and Schledemark, and he'll catch Korea's Yun as well. But what will he do as far as Martin Fourcade goes? I think he's unlikely to match him across the snow, Mike, but Svensson, I think, must have taken some encouragement from his shooting in the mixed relay.
Yes, he must. And this wind, so far, we've only had 5 out of 15 who have shot the perfect 5 out of 5 in the prone.
Nice and sent. Oh, those number 3, a long way right.
Do you know, I'm surprised he did not adjust that sight by 3 or 4 clicks, moving the fall of the shot. Look at the flags. They're blowing the shots down and to the right, hitting at 4 o'clock within the golf ball size target.
Number 3 in the World Cup standings at this stage of the season. 14 races already completed of 26 for the season. Yevgeny Ustigov, 27-year-old. He's been shooting brilliantly in the pro, and surely he'll be able to cope with this wind, but has let himself down a little bit in the standing position. Legelic throws number 1 wide, but now he's got himself on target and finishes with 4 out of 5. That's okay, but he knows that that's a bad mistake. Very expensive indeed, and we'll try and get the stopwatch on the penalty lap so we can find out exactly what it's costing those who've missed.
Legelic again taking it wide. It's sensible to take it wide up this part because there's your tight corner. Legelic not looking on fire as he did earlier in the season.
Well, that's about 23 seconds a lap on the penalty loop, which is about average. Mike, of course, it's the same distance as normal. Out goes Lindstrom. He's missed one on each of the shoots, which is one worse than he did